So guys, what I would like to say about the previous lesson is that there are categories in this second exercise, as you see, and related to these categories, there are modifiers. And here comes the question: what is a modifier? Modifier is a word or phrase that is used before adjectives or adverbs to add meaning to the adjective or adverb before it was used. So you don't say obsessed, you say totally obsessed, and then totally is adding meaning to the adjective obsessed. Okay, so that's why you need to know what a modifier is. And these modifiers are categorized under four titles. The first one is we use these modifiers right before comparative adjectives to show a big difference. If it's a big difference, a lot or far, category D. Okay, a lot or far. So longer, see, it's a comparative adjective. And right before it, we use a lot or far to show that there's a big difference. And for the second one, for the second item, we use these modifiers right before comparative adjectives again, this time to show that there is a small difference. Okay, if there is a small difference, then this time we'll be using modifiers which tells us that there's a small difference, which is a bit or a little. So this more expensive is an adjective, is a comparative adjective, and there before it we can use either a little or a bit. Okay, they have almost the same meaning actually. And when it comes to the strong adjectives, we use some modifiers right before strong adjectives. Okay, so these are the modifiers: extremely, absolutely, really, and what was the other one? Extremely, absolutely, really, and totally. Okay, so these modifiers should be used before strong adjectives, which tells us that there's an idea. So these adjectives are out of an idea. Okay, that's why they are strong adjectives. Obsessed. Obsessed is a strong adjective before which we use the modifiers extremely or absolutely or totally or really. And the last category is the modifiers before adjectives that we use before adjectives to mean that more than a little, more than a bit, but less than very. Okay, for this category we use the modifiers quite, rather, fairly, and I think pretty. Yeah, it was pretty here. Okay, so for now that's it. It was a quick summary of what we have studied. So along with the given information above seconds ago, which we have just summarized, by using this information, so let's try to get the answers for the gaps. And here extremely was used because damaging is a strong adjective which is telling there's a strong thought, strong idea. Okay, because it's a strong adjective before which we use the modifier extremely. And in that group, there's absolutely, totally, extremely, and so. Making materials like cotton or denim can be extremely damaging for the environment. That's why it is absolutely or far. Here it is absolutely. Can you just type me in the chat why it should be absolutely? Yes, I know, Arman, about this. Oh, yes, Ara, we didn't do exercise. I've just completed it for you, exercise 2. Okay, extremely, we used extremely, absolutely, no, not extreme. I'm talking about this gap. Why it should be absolutely. Page 15. Why it is absolutely. Hold on for a while, please. Because far wouldn't fit in that sentence. Asa is coming up with the answer. So my answer to this, that's why it's absolutely essential. Essential is a strong adjective, which is coming out of a thought, which is coming out of an idea that people think that it's essential. So because it's essential, so it's a strong adjective before which we use the modifiers absolutely, extremely, totally, and so. So here there is in the options, there's absolutely and far, but we don't pick to use far because far is used right before comparative adjectives, and essential is not a comparative adjective. It's a strong adjective. I'm going on. Yes, Caro, this is what I'm doing now. So that's why it's absolutely essential we create new materials from natural products that are fairly better or a lot better. If you pick the modifier fairly, what happens? If you pick the modifier a lot, what happens? And I just want to draw your attention that there is better, the comparative adjective better. That's why, yes, as many of you chose, a lot fits here. Thank you. Very good. A lot better for the planet. Some materials like bamboo have been what? Have been fairly successful or a little successful? Hey, pay attention to the meaning as well. Some materials like bamboo. Hey, we are talking about something that are a lot better for the planet, and it should be matching. The meaning should be matching to the following sentence, which is some materials like bamboo have been fairly successful. And in that group, there's fairly, there's pretty, there's quite. These modifiers have the meaning more than a little, less than very, okay? It is not super successful, but it's successful enough. Others are still being developed, like a material from the rice plant, which is quite similar to cotton or a bit similar. Just I want to draw your attention that a bit is used right before the comparative adjectives, which means quite is the answer here. Okay, quite similar to cotton. And one made from chicken feathers, which is pretty warm like wool or a bit warm like wool. The same logic like quite here actually. Same logic lies here in this sentence for the gap. Okay, of course, pretty, because if we are to use a bit out of two options, a bit is another option. If we are to use a bit, we need to continue with a comparative adjective, but warm is not a comparative adjective. Be careful. Technology has also made it what? Really easier or far easier? And what I want to draw your attention to is that easier is a comparative adjective. Okay, you're typing your answers. Yeah, remember the modifiers a lot and far, a bit and a little. We were supposed to use them right before the comparative adjectives. Far easier to recycle materials like plastic bottles into clothes such as leggings and t-shirts, which is really good news for the environment, which is a lot good news for the environment. I just again want to draw your attention that A lot should be used before a comparative adjective. Okay, which means we need to pick up really. 7 out of 7 we have just made out, which means we use the information given in the second exercise. Okay, so if you stick to the information given in the second exercise, which are explaining these categories of modifiers, it's way easier for you to do. Okay.